In general, what are the best ways to have an uncredited writer find script buyers?
Well, I know that the contests have always been a way to get your work out there. I think there are a handful of contests like the Nichols Fellowship, or Nickel Fellowship. A few other contests that are there. I think any writer starting off should go, you can Google it, best screenwriting contest, and see for yourself. And that's one way to do it. I mean, the fees, it's usually anywhere between, early entry fees are anywhere between 40 and 60 bucks. I don't think they've fluctuated much in the last 15, 20 years. That's one way to go. I will say with the contests, you got to win. I think if you win, it opens doors. I think even if you make it in the finals, I placed in a lot of contests, in semifinals, quarterfinals, finalists even.
In Nickel, right?
I was a semifinalist in Nickel years back, with the Pirate Hunter script, believe it or not, which was a shock. I just sort of submitted it for poops and giggles and went in, and it made it all the way to semifinals. That was actually a script that I had co-written with an old friend of mine, and I was amazed because I know the Nickel always seemed to focus more on, drama, maybe some comedy, some thriller, but this was a straight action movie. So I was impressed that it got as far as it did. And it got me my first manager, who is still my dear friend. So it definitely opened some doors. It got me some meetings. But I feel like you still need to come away with the top prize in that, maybe a runner-up. There's also, for writers, Inktip, which is a website that is devoted to, you put your you can upload your log line, synopsis, you can put a treatment and a script, and/or I think it's treatment and/or a script up there. And that definitely, there are a lot of production companies who are on there. I think they have something like 15,000 members, and that you can subscribe. They send your log line out, and you'll have people come and they can contact you. I used to have some stuff listed on there. I had somebody contact me. Never really materialized, but there are people that are looking. That's one way to reach other folks. Other than that, I know it's time of COVID. Networking is definitely a good way to go. It really is all about who you know. That's a great way. And working in an agency, working in a production company. Those are definitely ways of you can get your work to somebody potentially within those agencies, companies, et cetera, that might be able to open some doors for you. Working on shows, working on a TV show, working on a film, and continuing to work on various productions. Again, you accrue a lot of people. They know it's what happened with me when I started off, going from one to the next, and sort of broadening your scope of contacts. It's a funny story. I remember, this is before I even thought about it, being a TV writer. I had just left Law and Order, the Law and Order show, after 2 years, and I had given my script to a writer there. And she got in touch with me a couple months later. She said, I read your script. It's really good. She said, have you considered TV writing? And at the time, TV writing, I just wanted to write movies. And foolishly, and this is something that I say to anyone watching, if you have one of the top TV writers on Law & Order, or one of the TV writers in the business, and again, this was before the advent of TV was starting to come to the fore, and you were starting to get into the golden age, but this was probably a few years before that. And I was just so focused on being a film writer. But this woman said to me, and I had given her the script because I admired and respected her immensely and her talent. And she was one of the top writers there. I said, she called me. She said, this is really good, and have you considered writing TV? And I said, I haven't. And she said, well, I would. And I didn't really heed that call until later. And I did write some pilots, and I actually did get some meetings with folks in TV and at some of the networks with some of the pilots I had written. But I wish I had heeded that call earlier. And some of your viewers are probably looking at this and saying, what a schmuck. And you viewers are right, what a schmuck. If you have that opportunity, you hear those voices, it's all signs. Read the signposts. If somebody says, hey, you know what, you may want to consider writing this or working on that, or, take it. Because there are not a lot of opportunities in the film business. And if you're there to heed the call, it could lead to some really potentially wonderful things.
That's a great story. Yeah, I mean, maybe it just wasn't right for you at that time. I wouldn't.
I was young and dumb and etc. That's all I'll say.
I had certain things that, if I think back, but
yeah, she was a. I mean, for her, because I was gone from the show at that time. I was long gone. She did not have to call me. She did not have to call me up. And, when I left, I said to her, I told her, I said, I really appreciated, you really were inspiring to work for. You were always really cool and I always admired who you are. So I don't know if that did it, but she did get back to me. She didn't have to, and she did. And she was just very complimentary. And I just wish, in hindsight, maybe I had. But like you said, I was in a different place then. I think I was 25.
Yeah.
So, and you're thick at that. And that's why I'm saying, there takes some maturation.
Also, so many things are being presented to you at that age. And so I think there's this weird skew that you think it's always going to be that way, especially in this town.
You do.
And
you do.
You just think, no, I won't,
I'll get that next opportunity in 3 months, right? Or, something else, right? And you look, the one thing I'll say is that nobody ever said to me, and I'll still knock wood, nobody ever said to me, stop writing. You just don't do it. You need to find a new career path. Nobody ever said that to me. And I mean, I guess we wouldn't really say that to anybody, but if somebody's really being blunt, sometimes they would. You just don't have it, And I'm not saying I have it. I'm just saying that in my professional experience, nobody ever said, just stop. This isn't for you.
Sure. And sometimes if someone says it, it doesn't even mean it's that somebody's trying to sabotage someone. So you just never know what
it's their opinion.
Right. What their agenda is.
And a real funny story. So that script that went to the semifinals in Nickel, 3 months earlier, we had somebody submitted to this film production company, which is no longer around, and they made a couple of comedies that weren't very good. But their director of development, it is the meanest response I ever received, and it was my writing partner and I at the time we received it. This development exec said, "It's not such and such material. It's not this company's material." And I remember thinking, and you made that film, and I was so, when we went, and I'll tell you, I admire my restraint, because after we made it all the way to the semifinals, it was like, I still had a little bit of acid in my mouth about that. And I just want to write, oh, really? Well, it's Nickel material. But I didn't do that. I'm not like that. But I was like, wow, that was definitely, just, I don't know if she meant, this isn't for us, but to just, to go out of their way and say, this doesn't rise to our level. I was like, wow, okay.
Yeah.
You just wanted to put us down. All right. Well, they're non-existent anymore. So we all got the last laugh because somebody went to see their movies, I guess. But it was a really mean-spirited thing to say, I thought. I would never, ever say anything like that to anybody. It's a very conceited thing.
Yeah, I almost feel like it's a hazing, and that's the only way I can think of it. It's like you've got to have a bunch of those to just keep you.
Absolutely.
Okay, I'm going to keep getting, because
absolutely.
it's they do happen.
They do.